So the answer to the question you're asking yourself is, I was 16, Vanessa was 7, when Nucleus, Jam On It came out. The reason for the short MTV music history class is because we're going to talk about Jamboard today.
Jamboard is located in your Google Drive. If you hit New and go down to More, you will find Jamboard near the bottom. When you can also find these.
Mine happens to be right in my main drive because we're doing it right now together, and we'll move it to a different place afterwards.
So one of the reasons we really love Jamboard is it has a lot of amazing collaborative and brainstorming tools that you can either have the students work on as a big class, small groups, and you can even have them work on it individually. So we're going to go through it. First, we're going to start with the tools on the left-hand side of the Jamboard.
So to give you Jamboard in 2 words, it's a digital whiteboard. I don't know if that's 2 words or 3 or hyphenated, but close enough, right? Digital whiteboard. So over here, we have a pen tool. This works really good if you're doing it on a Chromebook with a stylus because it allows you to write freehand very well. Okay, you are limited to only 6 colors. I don't know why Google chose those, although they are very similar to the Google colors in their logo. And then you have a pen, a marker, a highlighter, and a brush that you can use on the canvas over here. I'm just going to use the pen. I'm going to pick blue, and using my mouse, I'm going to write my name.
Even if the kids don't have stylus, this is really a great tool. You'd be surprised what kids can do either with their touchpad mouse or with a mouse that they've either plugged into the computer or that they plugged into their Chromebook.
So you can change colors. You can write. Each student can use a different color if you're using small groups. Okay.
I've seen some examples where people have put things in, for example, like a political cartoon, and the kids have had to mark it up, circle things. The sky's the limit.
So I just clicked on the image tool down here. You can upload from your local computer. You can do a Google image search, or you can upload from your Google Drive. So I had pre-done our I has cheeseburgers meme, and I'm going to bring that one in. And so what she's talking about is once you add something, it goes into a layer just like in PowerPoint. And now you can take that item that you've put in and you can write on top of it. Oh, I should make my pen a little thicker. I'll go with a marker. Markups to the things you're doing.
I like this as a math teacher. If you have things in Docs or Word that you can actually snip as an image and insert into the Jamboard, the kids could mark up the problem.
So you could have typed it with Equation Editor, Equate.io. It could be in a PDF. Doesn't matter. You just use the snippet tool. You quickly make a copy of what you did by using the copy button. You come back over here to Jamboard, and you can, we'll go to slide number 2 for this, because that's our math slide. Hit Control-V and paste it onto your page. Then use your selection tool to move it to where you want. You can also make it bigger. So as a teacher, think about pre-populating your Jamboard slides with questions and stuff that you can then assign to your students via Classroom, which we'll show you in a second.
And one thing I do want to talk about right here with the images, and I know we have a major slide at the end to sum it up, but once you have this in a Jamboard and you're collaborating, for example, with your whole class, everyone has the right to move whatever is on the Jamboard. Just to give you a heads up, it doesn't stick to a background like it would for, say, in Google Slides. So
what you do
something to keep in mind.
What you do see here is one of the limited background options in a Google Jamboard. We put the graph paper on up here. You can go on to any one of your slides and add one of 6 different backgrounds, 3 solid colors, and then 3 pattern ones for drawing.
And one's loose leaf paper.
Yep. We're going to leave it on the graph paper because what we wanted to demonstrate for you on this slide is how to show you how to draw on it effectively. Oh, by the way, if you haven't noticed, we have multiple slides up here. To add more slides, you just go past your last one and it will keep adding for you.
And what I really like when you hit that down arrow on that slide deck he was just on, You can choose to add before number 1 or after in between here with the little plus sign too.
And you can quickly jump to any slide in your presentation. And these are live, so as the students are working on them, you'll see their contributions being added to the slides. So one of the problems we had was we got graph paper, but how do we do graphing on it? And so you would think you'd come down here to the shape tool, but you really are limited to just a few shapes in Jamboard. But you can use the drawing tool. Now, if I try to draw a straight line, you're going to see that I am not very good at that. However, if I erase that line, and by the way, you can just hit clear frame, but it takes off all of the writing if you do that. You do have Control Z to go back.
You have an undo and a redo button in the top left too.
Control Z is the undo. It's the keyboard shortcut for it. So you can do this with the drawing tool. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard. And now when you draw, notice that it's not fixing the line, but it is drawing straight. You line it up, let it go, makes a straight line. Come over here, hold down the Shift key, start to draw my line it up, let it go, straight line.
Love
So
it.
the Shift tool lets you do that with any, it works in other Google tools, by the way, too. If I want to draw a square, notice that I drew a rectangle. But if I hold down the Shift key when I'm drawing a square, it makes it a perfect square. So the Shift key makes any shape a perfect shape, any line a straight line.
Love it. So he just went over the shape tool. Let's go back. I want to go back to the Post-it notes underneath the select tool.
You want me to go to the page that has our Post-it notes on it?
Sure. Here we've made a slide with Post-its, and we're going to just show you how to do it. Underneath the select tool, there is an image of a Post-it note, sticky, and you have a couple options. You can change the color of the sticky, or you can make sure it has no color whatsoever. And in the box, students can type anything they want. Couple of things to keep in mind. There is a limit of 171 characters per sticky note. You cannot really format or edit the sticky note with returns or anything. It's almost like a full paragraph. And we can't hyperlink anything inside sticky notes. So these really are basic thoughts, ideas. Once you've added it, this one looks pretty small. So John's going to show you how to resize. And what are those 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner? Okay, edit, duplicate, delete, or order. So if you were layering your Post-it notes, and you actually, that'd be kind of a cool idea to layer a whole bunch and move them as you're doing your lesson. So
Is your reveal.
Yeah, I am somebody who really needs examples of how the heck would I ever use this in my classroom. So that is what this Jamboard slide is. We found 3 for you.
All right. One other thing we want to show you too is that when you are in classroom and you are assigning new work to students, you will click Create here an assignment, and you can give it math warm up for today. And we're going to click Add down here, and we're going to go to our Google Drive, and we can pick any Jamboard we previously put in our drive. And obviously with recent, the one we're doing right now with you guys is going to come up here. We can click that and click Insert.
Now there's 3 choices you can do with this Jamboard. You can just have students view it. You can share it with everybody in the class. Students can edit files, so they're all working on the same Jamboard together, or you can make a copy for each student.
Yeah, this option is a little like the Wild West, though, because you can't control what students do. You can't stop them from removing content from the slides. You can't stop them from typing over other students' content. And there is no revision history like the other Google tools, so you can see who did what. So just be aware when you're brainstorming, it's really wide open.
And maybe I'm a little bit more, I'm a little brave. I don't think I would let that deter me from using it with everybody, even just to get the example for myself as a teacher and for the students.
Yep. So it is available to assign in Classroom. It's also available in Google Meet and in breakout rooms. You just, once you're in the Meet or in an individual breakout room, you click on the 3 dots and say Open a Whiteboard. You can open one of your existing ones, or you can create a blank one from scratch.
If you create a blank one from scratch, just make sure that you are clicking the down arrow for the sharing rates, that people just are not viewing it. If you want them to edit it, you actually have to change from view it to from viewing to edit.
Yeah, by default, all people in that breakout room only get view access to the Jamboard unless you trigger the switch she's talking about. Okay, so we did put together a little pros and cons slide here for you. Overall, Jamboard, huge pro because it allows the students to freely answer using handwriting on their Chromebook any question you want them to ask. Whether it's annotating a political cartoon, labeling a diagram, working on a map, or doing a math problem.
I even like with reading, just being able to freestyle my ideas and thoughts about the book I'm reading. That's a very cool thing.
Plot diagrams, diagramming a sentence, all those kinds of things it works really well with. All right, so next part of this video is going to show you the Jamboard app. We're using the Jamboard on the web right now, but on your Chromebooks, you have the Jamboard app installed. The reason why we're going to show you that separately is because there are more tools in the app than there are in the web version. The Google app for Jamboard. So if you click on your starting circle and you type in Jamboard, you'll notice there's two versions. One that's the regular square and one that has a white circle going around it. The white circle is the app version of it that we've installed on all secondary Chromebooks. So you can right click on it and pin it to your shelf, and then it will be down here in the white circle. So I'm going to start up the app version of Jamboard. You'll notice that when I start the app version of Jamboard, it shows me the Jamboards that are in my Google Drive. So I can select that one we were just demonstrating for you on and open it up. Okay, all of our changes are there. All of our slides are there. Okay. All right. So now I click on the pencil down here to begin editing this Jamboard, and my toolbar appears over here. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time because we've already went long, but there are some other tools over here. So there is an assistive drawing tool here, which kind of gets at that problem we were talking about just a second ago, where you can't draw a straight line, you can't draw a perfect shape. So if you use this tool and you select on, I want to draw a shape and have it become a regular shape, that's when you're using your stylus and you're going to be actually clicking on the screen and drawing a shape, and Google's going to make it into a perfect circle for you. Or you're drawing a line and Google's making it a perfect line for you. Okay, so that's the assistive drawing tool, and you can do that with shapes. You can have it turn handwriting to text. And this last one is a freehand where you draw a drawing and it takes your drawing and makes it into a pre-made line drawing that Google's already put in there. So that's only in the app version, which you can find on Chromebooks. Okay. The clear all content in the frame is underneath the erase button, unlike it was in the web version of the app. Oops, and I got to undo that here. The keyboard shortcut does not work. All right. That's the same select tool. So much simpler interface here. However, you got this plus sign down here, which has all those additional things. Sticky note we already covered, image we already covered. However, you can insert directly from your drive into your Jamboard. So if you want to take a Google Doc that you have or a Google slideshow and put it into your Jamboard so that you can then annotate and mark on it, that's how you would do that. In order to do that, however, you have to have the Drive app installed on your Chromebook too, which we have done for you. Okay, on your 612 Chromebooks. The stickers that I was going to show you that have all kinds of different stickers that are available by type and category. Okay, that you can add into your Jamboard, including some Venn diagram based things that you can then write over because they're underneath. You can also have the kids insert a graphic every time that is their avatar. So whenever they put content onto a Google slide, that they put that little sticker, little picture image insert, and that indicates that it's their work that's there. Okay, so a couple extra tools, but the best ones are these assistive writing tools up in here, and the ability to add stuff from your Google Drive right into your thing here.